let's talk about this money thing. You see, the reality is that if you're going to do business, at some stage in the sales process, you're probably going to have to start talking about money because, there has to be some money exchanged for the goods and the services that you're going to provide. And money is the language of business, so it's really important that we get fluent with this stuff. That's harder than potentially it should be. And the reason for that is tied up with all of those messages that we got about money when we were children. And you can probably even think about what they are. Money is the root of all evil. Money doesn't grow on trees. It's rude to talk about money. Now, if you've heard any of those phrases, and possibly more as well, then you're just like most of us, which means that sometimes it can feel a little bit awkward to talk about money. But the reality is that you've got a solution for the prospect's problem, and you deserve to be compensated for the value that you're going to bring by getting rid of their problem. So it's important that you know how to be able to talk about that. Now, there are various different questions you can ask, and it does all come back to good quality questions once again. Questions like, when you last invested in something like this, what sort of investment did you put in? What sort of level was that investment at? Based on the time that's elapsed since that last time and where we are today, how much would you expected it to have gone up by? Because, everything goes up, doesn't it? Everything increases in value. So you can ask other questions such as something simple like, bracketing, where you basically say, a solution like this, typically we're going to be looking somewhere between, let's say, 5,000 and 10,000, based on the kinds of problems we've talked about. What's your expectation? Is it going to be closer to the 5 or closer to the 10? You could say something like, one thing I know for sure is that nobody I've ever met has actually put a line in their budget that says, give Matthew lots of money. However, even though you don't know what the budget might be, usually, experience tells me that people always have a bit of a sense of what too much is. So what does too much look like in your world? So you can ask all those sorts of questions in order to be able to start to uncover the financial budget, or how much they're actually willing to invest to make this bad thing go away from their lives. But it's not just about the money. The investment is not just money, it's other things as well. And the biggest one of the three things is often time. It's actually finding the time to be able to put the solution in place. Because no matter how good you are as a third-party provider, you actually have to make sure that they have bought into making the changes they need to make in order to be able to deal with this issue. And that takes time. And time is something that an awful lot of business people have in very short supply. So it's important to be able to uncover that with good questions as well. And finally, of course, there's the third thing, which is resources, including human resources and intellectual capital. Are they prepared to kind of give the brain space to making these changes? Are they prepared to invest the right people in making these changes? Asking the right sorts of questions about, how much time have you thought about investing in order to actually get rid of this problem? How much money do you think it makes sense to actually invest to get rid of this problem? How many people are you expecting to be able to have to commit to dealing with this issue in order to make it go away? Those are the right sorts of questions to be having. And if we don't have those questions, then it's very, very easy to once again get sucked into the prospect system rather than being in our own. It's very easy to find ourselves walking the walk that they want us to walk rather than the one that's actually relevant to ourselves, which is to find out the fair compensation for what it is that we are doing for them.